urban climate. So recently there has been a report by World Economic Forum which has pointed that the cities are very vulnerable to the climate change. So on the idea of that, we have framed this question, and the question is that the urban climate is becoming unpredictable in nature in recent times. So the urban climate is becoming more unpredictable in recent time, and you have to critically examine these statements. So the idea is that the urban climate is becoming unpredictable in the recent time, and we have to examine this statement. I've already told you the context of the question or the inspiration of the question is from the World Economic Forum report, which pointed that the cities have become more vulnerable to the climate and other related issues. So, like every question, there is an about dimension to this question, there is an approach dimension to this question. What is an about dimension? An about dimension is what is the question about? Question किस बारे में है? The question here is on the urban climate. And the approach dimension, that is what is the main demand of the question. What is the demand of the question? The demand of the question is that the urban cities, that the urban climate is becoming more unpredictable in the recent time. That is, the urban climate have become unpredictable in the recent time. That is the main demand of the question. Now, here, what is the, now when you've understood the demand of the question, you will have to think that how do you develop the storyline? What do you write first? Then what should be the later part? And what should be the concluding part? So there are n number of ways writing an answer. I have taken two storylines. In the first storyline, you can start with a fact. The fact, you can introduce a fact with that so and so report, World Economic Forum report point out this many percentage of the urban areas have seen the change in the climate, or the climate has become unpredictable. So starting with a fact, any fact from the report. Then you draw a diagram. For geography, after the introduction, there has to be a diagram. Then that is the main demand of the question, that there is unpredictability in the urban climate in the recent time, and in the solution, the way forward, that how do you manage that. So one is you have already established via a fact, followed by a diagram, then the main demand of the question, and then the management. Then there is another way of writing answers rather than using a fact, because many people, they are not good with memorizing the facts. For them, you can give the context. What was the context of this question? I had already told you there was a World Economic Forum report. So you could just point out that there has been the World Economic Forum report which has pointed that the cities have become more vulnerable to the climate, and the climate has become more unpredictable for the cities. Just establish a fact, just establish the context of the question rather than rote memorizing the fact if that is not your strength area. And then followed by a diagram. Coming to then that should be followed by the main demand of the question, that is unpredictability, and what would be the consequences of this unpredictability. So futuristic aspect, what would be the consequences? This can be the another storyline that you can develop in your answer. Here this is the main demand, this is the main essence. Here that will remain the same, but the storyline changes on the basis of the introduction and the conclusion. So anything you can write as a fact as the introduction, and you can conclude with the way forward, or you can set a context in the introduction and then you explain the consequences in the conclusion. Now, what are the common mistakes that students do? One is they would fail to understand that what kind of diagram should I draw in this type of question. So my suggestion to you would be, you can draw a map, okay, wherein you are showing the effects of the unpredictable climate, or you can show a building and you can tell why is it becoming, why is the climate becoming unpredictable, why is it becoming unpredictable. Okay. Then there is lot issue that people, they actually tend to forget the keywords, forget the examples and the keywords. So examples, try to write examples from India, Goa, Visakhapatnam, Puri, Bangalore, Mumbai. These are the cities who have actually seen the unpredictability in the climate. Okay. And a very important word was the examine. When you say examine, you tell, okay, the climate has become unpredictable. You take a fact and then you write why aspect. Why has it become unpredictable? What is the consequence? Okay, so like we go to the doctor examines our body, why it happened, what is the consequences, what is the fact established, what is the symptom, what is the effect. Similarly, you will have to dissect your question, dissect what aspect, why aspect, consequences aspect, how aspects, these all you can try to fit in your answer. That is what examination means, right? Then let's understand the common mistakes by the draft 1. So this is the draft 1 that I'm presenting in front of you. You can now see the common mistakes that the candidates do. So the question was, the urban climate is becoming more unpredictable in the recent times. Critically examine these statements. The urban climate is becoming more unpredictable in the recent time. Examine this statement. So in the introduction, see, such a big introduction, such a verbose introduction. It says that what is urban climate? It goes on to define the urban climate. I think definition is not much needed for urban climate because the examiner knows what is an urban climate. But still, the urban climate, the verbose, very verbose, it is defined as a set of climatic conditions that prevails in the large metropolitan areas. So climate that prevails in the urban area, that prevails in the large metropolitan area is defined as the urban climate, and it differs from the rural surroundings. Okay? Then it says that in the recent time, climate change, global warming, other anthropogenic factors, cultural, economic, have distinct effects on the urban climate phenomena and increases in the number of extreme weather events such as flood, drought and storm, making it complex and unpredictable. It says that there has been n number of reasons for the unpredictability, like climate change, global warming, anthropogenic reasons, the cultural reasons, economic reasons, and it has tried to tell the why dimension in the introduction. Firstly, this definition was not much needed, and then why dimension has been elaborated upon. So this has made the introduction to verbose. Try to avoid writing definition for simple things. Okay, don't try to write definition of what is urban climate. Don't then try to write the definition of climate. Then you will explain weather. Then you will explain rainfall. So don't try to write too obvious. It's too obvious. If it's too obvious a word, don't try to define. If it is not an obvious word, then you can go for definition. So this is not a very good way of introducing. Okay. Then the diagram. Okay, the diagram that the person has drawn here, it says the factors contributing to the unpredictability of the urban areas. So if the person has drawn all the points here, the person has written all the points here, then what will the person write in the body? The body was, right, this was the body part, that what are the factors that causes the unpredictability of the urban climate. So if everything is written in the diagram, if every reason is written in the introduction, what do you write in the body? You tend to be repetitive in the body. So try avoiding this. What is the factors? The factors that has been mentioned here is the anthropogenic force sources, like the building, factories, they generate heat. Okay. There is lack of vegetation. So lack of vegetation is pointed as a reason. There is the building construction is pointed as the reason of changing in the climate. Then the dark surfaces have been pointed, that there is dark surfaces. Then there has also been pointed the other factors like the pollution and etc. So they have written the factors, all the factors that has been written in the diagram itself. Then what do you do in the body part? don't try to be repetitive in the diagram as well as in the body part. We will see how to avoid this in the further coming discussion. Okay? Then look at the body. The body is talking about the factors which have contributed to the unpredictability of the urban areas. The factors like climate change. So what happens is, simply write, no, you could simply write about climate change plus global warming is leading to what? Is leading to unpredictable urban climate. Example, you can write unforecasted rainfall in Mumbai. Okay, unforecasted rainfall in Mumbai. It is because of the global warming, because of the climate change. But now see, when the people, they actually try to elaborate too much. Climate change and global warming, they cause cyclone, storm, warming ocean, heat wave in the urban areas. The extensive forces, the defensive forces against these events like cyclones have been obliterated by various development process and a lack of protection measures such as this. You need not write so much. Just one line and a fact to prove your point is correct. One line. Climate change is leading to unpredictable climate weather in the unpredictable weather in the or the climate in the urban areas. Example, unforecasted rainfall is seen across in Mumbai and Pune. That is it. You need not elaborate your point too much. Okay. Then look at the second point here. The second point, third point, it is the same thing. Now here people tend to link everything to the climate. The point that it is written here is the cities have been majorly affected by El Nino. So you have read El Nino. You write cities have been affected by El Nino. You write North Atlantic Ocean. You have read Pacific Decadal Ocean. And then you say that cities are affected by this. How is the link established? The link has not been established. So either there is too much of verbose content or the links are not yet established. So this should be avoided. Simply, even if you can use simple keywords, like for example, we all know what is urban heat island. Okay, urban heat island means there is increase in the temperature of the urban areas as compared to the rural surrounding. Rather than explaining the entire thing, what is urban heat island, rather than the definition, you could simply write that the urban heat island is also making the urban climate unpredictable. You need not elaborate it too much, and whatever link cannot be established, please don't try to write this point. So my suggestion to you would be that write a heading like you've written urban heat island, then you establish a link that how is urban heat island making the climate unpredictable in one line, and then try to substantiate it by example. Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Pune, Visakhapatnam, Goa, take any example. But just elaborate in one simple line and then give example, right? So this is about the urban heat island. Now coming on to the main question. The main question is here. The main answer is also here. So the main answer is, I will read this answer for you so that you are better able to grasp the entire situation. Okay. So let's start. The question is that the urban heat island is becoming more unpredictable, in the recent time, and you have to examine this statement. So the urban climate, here also the definition has been written. We can avoid that definition, need not directly write the definition, but if you want to write, just write it one line. That is, the urban climate refers to the climatic conditions in the large metropolitan areas that is different from the rural climate. In recent times, climate change, global warming, extreme weather events have made the urban climate unpredictable. And then you tell, and then you show it in the diagram. See, what is the unpredictable climate? There is frequent storm, frequent floods, frequent heat waves, etc. So you try to establish that There is recurrent typhoons in Japan. Therefore, it is made the urban climate unpredictable. Mumbai has frequent flooding. The cities in the coastal region, they are seeing the sea level rise and the effect on the climate, the resultant effect on the climate. There is frequent storms in the New York, the Delhi pollution and the smog formation. So these are the unpredictable extreme events, or the unpredictable climatic events. The unpredictable, you try to say that yes, there are evidences of unpredictable climate across the regions. And then, because the question is about examination, in the examination part, you tell that the factors that have contributed to the unpredictability of the urban climate. What happened in the draft one? There was repetition of the point. Therefore, to avoid this, in the diagram, you can show the world map and then you can establish, see, these are the evidences where there is change in the urban climate and the urban climate has become unpredictable. So the factors which have contributed to the unpredictability of the urban areas, one is your climate change. We already know that climate change, what will climate change do? It will see, now we are trying to establish the link. This is the heading, climate change. Now you are establishing the link with the urban climate. So climate change will lead to more cyclonic storms, will lead to seawater inundation, leading to the change or the unpredictable climate. So if there is cyclone that is unpredictable, that becomes the part of the unpredictable climate. This is the key heading. This is the link that has been established in one line, and then you substantiate it by an example which says that, for example, the coastal cities such as Goa, Puri has been exposed to the storm surges. There has been storm surges. This is how you establish a link. So you give a heading, you write one line and you write an example. Similarly, the concretization. See, it's a one word, concretization, but this word has a meaning, a sentence in it itself. Okay? So just by writing one word, you can communicate a lot. What is concretization? Development of the concrete roads, okay, in the cities. So concretization is basically talking about in the form of concrete buildings has led to the urban heat island. And then you can show it in the diagram. Urban heat island is because of what? It is because of the long wave radiations, okay, that is being trapped by the heat, by the buildings. The long wave radiation is being trapped by the other related constructions. Then you also say they store the heat and they release the heat in the night. There is loss of vegetation. You try to show it in the diagram itself. So these things, these anthropogenic reasons have also made the urban climate unpredictable, right? Then, so this was the first heading, the climate change. The second was concretization and the anthropogenic reasons, right? And then you say that there is also other reasons, like there is modification of the air circulation. The modification of the air circulation, the urban heat island effect, they actually not only heat the urban areas, but they also alter the local wind pattern. So the local wind pattern is altered because of the urban heat island, and therefore there will be more rainfall in Mumbai. So you've written an example also. So you say that you've developed a link, you've developed that there is modification of the urban air circulation because of the urban heat island, and then you give an example of Mumbai, as Mumbai being an example of that there has been more rainfall because of the urban heat island. Then you say even the pollution dome, the urban heat island, they trap the gases. In city like in Delhi, you will always see in the winters there is a trapping of the pollution. And a dome has been created that is called as pollution dome. That is because of the urban heat island. The urban heat island leads to a situation where there is the pollution dome that is being trapped. So this leads to temperature inversion. Because there is temperature inversion, it traps the pollution. I hope you know what is temperature inversion. So as the height increases, the temperature also increases. That is temperature inversion. So urban heat islands will lead to temperature inversion, leading to the pollution dome. Example, you can write about Delhi in winters. And then they lead to unpredictability of the climate. So every time we are trying to establish the link with the climate by using headings, by establishing a link and writing an example. And how do you conclude? See, SDG is a very nice way of concluding the geography and the environment answers. So you can easily conclude with the SDG. You can say that the cities are not only facing the consequence of climate change, but the cities themselves contribute. The cities themselves contribute to the climate change, and therefore we need a sustainable cities. Therefore we need good solution. So the sustainable cities and the SDG 11 that will make the cities resilient, safe and sustainable. So you're trying to give a way forward. The question was about that the urban climate is becoming unpredictable. Examine. So examination, you will have to develop the why part, give the what part, and you have to establish the link and give examples throughout your answer. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, stay tuned.